Yesterday, I asked you guys to send me questions via Snapchat so I could answer them today on the vlog. First question: if you could bring back any animal species, what would it be? Oh man. Logistically, I know there's probably some animal that would be really beneficial to the ecosystem to bring back, but in my brain, because I'm selfish, I'm gonna say thylacine, the Tasmanian tiger. They are the coolest marsupial to ever live. I love them, and I want to see them potentially come back. I know that some geneticists are working on cloning one because there is a really well preserved specimen somewhere in Tasmania. So yeah, thylacine, Tasmanian tiger. I should do a video on those. Next question: how did you and Bryan meet, and how did the 5 weird animal facts come about? Ooh, nailed it. How did you and Bryan meet, and how did the 5 weird animal facts come about on Animal Bites TV? I get this question a lot, and basically I've been a fan of Bryan's for a very long time. I watched Snake Bites TV for like 5 or 6 years. My friend one day tagged me in a post on the Snake Bites TV Facebook page. Bryan posted saying, I'm looking for a host for a show about weird animal facts. So the show is actually his idea, not mine. And I'm looking for someone who's good with camera equipment, who's good at hosting, who can do this show. And I'm like, I'm good at that kind of stuff. I wasn't at the time. And I really didn't expect it to go anywhere. But I sent him an email. I emailed him, saying, hey, I'm into video production. I love wildlife, especially weird wildlife. And I'd love to send you an audition. And he responded, I think, on the same day, which really caught me by surprise. I didn't think that he'd actually get back to me at all. But he got back to me that same day, asked for an audition tape. I sent it to him. He said he loved it. And then here we are today. That was a little over a year and a half ago. And the first time I actually met Bryan was just under a year ago when we went to South Africa together. So the first time we actually met was in the airport. I think it was in DC before we left to go to South Africa. So that's kind of cool, right? It would have been real bad if we found out that when we met in person that we didn't like each other that much, because we'd be spending a month together in Africa. But luckily we're deeply in love, so it worked out. Next question: what made you get into collecting animals? What was your major? Okay, a couple things about this question. Collecting animals, I hate that idea. I don't collect animals. I keep animals, and I display animals, and I care for animals. Collecting, I'm being nitpicky here, but collecting makes them sound like objects and not living things, and that's a big pet peeve of mine. I think there should be purpose behind every animal that you own and not just another number. I don't buy animals just so I can own animals. I'm not just trying to collect as many as I can. I'm not, just trying to catch them all. What really got me into keeping animals in the first place is just a genuine love for them and a fascination with them from a very young age. I don't really know what it is, to be honest. I've always loved wildlife. I've always been out looking for bugs while other kids were playing soccer or baseball. Catching snakes while other kids were playing video games. It's just always been my thing. It got me bullied a lot when I was a kid because I was very outspoken about it when I was younger. But something about setting up an enclosure for an animal and trying to mimic its natural habitat as well as possible in a captive environment, and watching it thrive, watching it grow, and learning about its behavior by watching it every day and feeding it and caring for it and forming a relationship, forming a bond with an animal that most people wouldn't expect to be able to create a bond with is something that's so unexplainable. And I love it every single day. Every single day it's still blows my mind how much I love every animal that I have. And that's a big part of it for me, is setting up the enclosures, which sounds a bit strange, but like mimicking the natural habitat of these animals is one of the things I love doing the most because it's very challenging, but it's also very rewarding. So again, going back to the collecting thing, I think someone who collects animals like snakes is someone who is a private keeper, who has, snake racks with dozens of snakes in drawers with newspaper bedding and a water dish, and that's it. And that's collecting to me. That's not husbandry. And that's controversial. I know I'm going to get a little bit of flack for that, but I really don't see any reason why a private keeper, someone who's not actively breeding an animal, should keep a rack system in their house. I think it's quality over quantity when it comes to having pets. This is just my opinion. I have no beef with anybody who has snake racks in their home and aren't planning on breeding. I just think, why have an animal if you're not going to enjoy it to its full potential? Knowing my animals are thriving and intellectually stimulated brings me a great deal of joy. And that's the best reason I can give you as to why I keep animals the way that I do. All right, that got unintentionally deep. Next question. Can you pools show us your setup? I think you're asking for like a tour of my animal room and to show you how my animals are set up, and I will absolutely do that, possibly in the next video or the video after that. Next question. If you had to choose, what is your most favorite tortoise that you'd like to own? Nice question. This is a very cliche basic answer, but if I could keep any tortoise, it would have to be a Galapagos giant tortoise, one of the subspecies. I would like to get maybe 2 that were captive bred, and give them a setup like the one that is over at Camp Kennan. I don't know if you guys remember Kennan. He used to have a show on Animal Bites, but he has the most beautiful setups for his animals. He's a great example of what I was talking about earlier with quality over quantity, because in the space that he has on his property, he could keep thousands of animals, but instead he keeps, I don't know the exact number, but he keeps a lot, but they all have their own space. They all have room to roam around. It mimics their natural environment. He changes the kind of dirt and soil that he has in his yard based on what species is living there. The right kind of drainage for desert species, because he lives in Florida. The right kind of grasses, the right kind of plants that live there, so plants are living at the edge of their enclosures, so they reach over the sides of the walls and the tortoises can trim them when they grow over the sides. It's what I really aspire to have someday. Once I have the backyard for it, I'd love to have a big tortoise pen like the one that Kennan has. If you haven't seen any episodes of Camp Kennan, go subscribe to his channel right now. Next question. How many insects or reptiles have died in your collection? Jesus. How many insects or reptiles have died? I don't keep tabs on that. I don't have a number in the back of my head, but I've been keeping animals, reptiles, and invertebrates since I was like 6 years old, and I'm 21 now. So take the average lifespan of the animals that I've had over that 15-year period. I don't know, man. Next question. Oh, okay. This is exciting. What is your favorite band/song at the moment? I have the weirdest taste in music. I almost exclusively listen to Australian hip-hop. It's very, very different from American hip-hop. It's not... It follows the themes of political issues and societal issues. The central focus of Australian hip-hop is the meaning behind the lyrics. So it's really poetry with an amazing beat behind it. So that's... If I were to pick a genre, that would be it. Back to the actual question, though. My favorite song is The Arrow by an artist called Earthboy. It's on an album called The Past Beats Inside of Me Like a Second Heartbeat, and it might be my favorite album right now. Really beautiful. A lot of history in the lyrics and a lot of emotion in the lyrics, but it's still fun to listen to. Usually you have to choose between the two things, whether you're listening to something with meaning behind it or you're listening to something that just sounds good in your ear space. This is both. For American hip-hop artists, people are going to give me shit for this, but I love Kanye. I think Kanye is a musical genius, but he knows it, and that's the problem. I love Macklemore. I've seen Macklemore in concert twice, and they were 2 of the best concerts I've ever been to. George Watsky is fantastic. He came from YouTube and is now becoming a more and more mainstream lyricist. He started as a spoken word poet and took his spoken word poetry and translated it into rap. and it's really, really incredible. Very awesome, meaningful lyrics. I'm seeing him in concert for the second time in a couple months. DVG, Darren Von Gardner, he's another guy who started off on YouTube and is really starting to blow up a lot. So yeah, all those people are great. Listen to them, please. If you want to get like an introduction to Australian hip-hop, listen to the song Nosebleed Section by the Hilltop Hoods. And that's the song that got me into the genre. God, that was a long answer, sorry. Next question. If you were able to, would you bring back the Megalodon? God. I think it's naive to think that the Megalodon is gone. Is Megalodon. Does that answer your question? Next question. What was your first pet? You used the wrong your. It should be Y-O-U-R, not Y-O-U''R. This is going real good. My screen can be very clearly seen on this camera. My first pet was... God. I think it was a freaking mouse. Next question. If you could keep any animal in the world as a pet, what would it be? Also, the vlog channel is looking great. Keep up the good work. Thank you for that. I have a lot of love for American alligators. I think they are some of the most beautiful animals on the planet. Like, I truly look at an American alligator's face, and it's just beautiful. It's gorgeous to me. And I'd love to raise one for my hatchling. I think that would be really, really amazing. I've helped take care of some. I used to work at a reptile zoo here in Exeter, and yeah, I'd love to do that again, because alligators are freaking awesome, man. They're so smart, they're so beautiful, and yeah, alligator. That's my final answer. Next question. What is your favorite type of snake? This should surprise nobody, but it's got to be my Asian vine snakes. Ahitula prasina are some of the most beautiful and intelligent and just different snakes in the world. It's been an absolute pleasure keeping them. It's definitely not a snake I'd recommend to anybody to keep unless you have a constant supply of anoles, a lot of space, and high humidity. But they're so great. Definitely not an animal for everybody. I can barely keep up with them, but they're still fantastic. And that's all the questions you guys sent me, so thank you so much for this. I hope this was entertaining at all. That's in any way. Maybe I'll do this like every 5 or 10 vlogs, just do a Q&A thing, and I'll try and make it somewhat entertaining, because this is hard. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Check out 5 Weird Animal Facts on Animal Bites TV, because that's where I live other than here. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.